Hi there. In the previous few lectures, we've been working on our bounce program. So we've got to the point where we have our paddle, we have our ball. The ball seems to be moving quite well, and the paddle moves left and right, and nothing is going out of boundary. The next thing we need to do is find out when the ball hits the paddle. At this point in our code, the ball won't hit the paddle. In fact, the ball will just go through it. We can solve this problem by adding the code to the draw function, where we have code that checks for walls. But it's a better idea to move this sort of code into new functions. So we'll first change the ball's init function so we can pass the paddle object as a parameter. So let's go back to our ball class and let's pass paddle, let's pass it in between actually. So canvas, paddle, color. The next thing we need to do is initialize it. So after the canvas, let's do self.paddle is equal to paddle. Before we get any further, let's make this a little more neater because I'm getting confused what is what. So let's add a few spaces to separate some stuff out. All right, great. So we have now initialized our paddle in the def init class, and self.paddle is equal to paddle. Great. Next thing we need to do is change the ball class. So right now it's only taking the canvas and red. In it, let's just add paddle. But we'll get an error doing this because first the ball will get initialized, and while it's reading it, you'll see paddle, but it'll be like, what is paddle? I have no clue. That's because our paddle line is over here. So just Command X and do enter and Command V. So paddle should be first and then the ball. Great. The code we need to see if the ball has struck the paddle is a little more complicated than the code to check for walls. Let's call this function hit paddle. And let's go up to the ball class and let's create a new function, def hit paddle. Okay, so let's add it in. Def paddle. Actually, you know what? Let's initialize this before the draw function. So def hit paddle. It should take in two things, the self and the position. Now, one thing we need to do is first let's put a pass here. Let's say the ball hit the paddle. Then what? We have to make it so that the ball goes backwards in the direction it was going. So let's quickly add that in our def.draw. Let's say if self.hit underscore paddle, taking in the value pause, is equal to true, we're going to say self.y is equal to -3. So let's explain what just happened here. All we did was created a function. We call it hit paddle with two parameters, self and the position of the ball. So we're saying self.hit underscore paddle pos is equal to true. Then we want the ball to go in the reverse direction. And here pos is the coordinates of the ball. All right. So we have that much. So let's remove the pass and let's start coding if it hits the ball. So follow me. Just copy what I'm going to write. Paddle pos, so the position of the paddle should be equal to self.canvas.chords, and then what is the ID? It's going to be self.paddle.id. Great. So now we have the paddle's coordinates and we have what? We have the ball's coordinates. So now this code will be a little more confusing. So once I write, I'll explain it to you. So just follow me. If pos2 is greater than or equal to paddle pos 0, then what do we want to do? And pos 0 is less than and equal to paddle underscore pos 2, then we want to say another if statement. If pos 3 is greater than or equal to paddle underscore pos 1, and pos 3 is less than or equal to paddle pos 3. Now you must be totally confused, probably have no idea what's going on. I'm going to try my best to explain it. Else return false. So we want a return false over here. Return false. Okay. So if you didn't get what just happened, I'm just going to explain it to you right now. If you got it, great. If not, don't worry. So in the first line, we initialize the function hit paddle taking 2 parameters. At the second line, paddle pos, we're just getting the coordinates of the paddle. Great. At the third line, we have the first part of our if statement. If pos 2 is greater than or equal to paddle pos 0, and pos 0 is less than or equal to paddle pos 2. Now we're saying here pos 2 contains the x coordinate for the ball's right side, and paddle pos 0 contains the x coordinates for the paddle's left side. So visualize it like this. Consider this to be our ball, like my pointer is the ball, and let's say return false as the paddle. So the rightmost side of the ball, we're saying position 2, so the rightmost side, if it is greater than or equal to the left side. So if to say this in simple English, all we're saying that if the ball is further to the right of the left side, then do something. So if you didn't get that, let me try explaining one more time. The variable pos 2 contains the x coordinate for the ball's right side, and pos 0 contains the x coordinate for the left side. Paddle pos 0 contains the x coordinate for the left side. Now if you think about it, so let me just run it and try to show you. So we have our Python launcher. Alright, that's fine, let it load, that's okay. But the main concept I'm trying to show you here, the left side of the paddle and the right side of the ball. So if the ball's right side is greater than or equal to the left side, i.e., if you think of this as a long line and this as a long line, then it should be here somewhere, to the right of the right side. So right here, right now, the ball was here. So right now, all this is true. So this function returned true. And right when the ball got here, the function returned false. So if position 2, if the right side of the ball is greater than or equal to the left side of the paddle, and the left side or position 0, so if the left side of the ball is less than or equal to the right side of the paddle. So all we're saying here is if the ball's right side is more than the left side of the paddle, and the right side of the ball is less than the right side of the paddle. Okay, I agree. Again, confusing, but hopefully you got it. Think of the board or think of our paddle as a huge long column. We're just checking to see if the ball is in that column or not. So by using this, position 2 greater than or equal to paddle pos 0 and pos 0 less than or equal to paddle pos, we find out if the ball is in that column. Doesn't matter where in the column right now, but if it's in that column, right of the left side of the paddle and left of the right side of the paddle, so i.e. in this space, then we go on to the next statement. If position 3 is greater than paddle position 1. So what is position 3 of the ball? It's the bottom side, so the bottom. And we're checking to see if position 3 is greater than or equal to paddle position 1. And what is paddle position 1? The top of the paddle. So we're checking to see if the ball has either hit the top of the paddle or if it's gone a little bit under. So it might be a little 1-2 pixels down, but if the ball has gone through the paddle or if it's hit the top, and position 3. So position 3 is the bottom of the ball, and we're checking to see if it's less than or equal to the paddle position 3. So in the first if statement, we were checking to see if it was in this column. In the second if statement, we were checking to see if it's in the width part of the paddleboard. So stick with me here. We're saying if position 3 is greater than or equal to paddle position 1. So we're checking to see if the bottom of the ball has gone past the top part, but we're also checking to see if the position or if the bottom of the ball has not gone past the bottom part. So it's between the top and the bottom. Alright, hopefully you got that. If not, don't worry, but we'll repeat this. I'll do a recap and I'll try to explain one more time. So all we're saying now is return true, and else if this if this part is not true, then we're saying return false. So hopefully you got that. Great. Awesome. So based on this, we have now successfully ran it. So let's close this and let's do F5 again. Command S, F5. And our Python launcher. Okay, let's try moving our thing. Let's click this. Wait. Come on, we missed. Okay, wait. So let's do this. Let's wait for the ball. And boom. Wow. Awesome. So right now our ball has just hit off the paddle. Let's try hitting it one more time. Great. So if you didn't understand the code, number 1, we're checking to see if the ball is in the column, so the lengthwise part of the paddle. And then the next part of the if statement, we're checking to see if the ball is in the width part of the paddle. So we hit it. Great. Awesome. Now, right now you must be noticing that no matter what, the ball isn't dying. There's no end to the game. Obviously, a game must have a chance or something like that. So we have to check to see if the ball hits the bottom. And if it does, we have to pause the game and say someone has won. So let's fix this. Close this out. Let's close this out. Okay. So we have to add the element of chance, right? Right. So we need to add a hit bottom object or a hit bottom variable to the ball's init function. So let's go up. We have the ball's init function. Let's add one more variable. We're going to say self.hitBottom. Hit bottom is equal to false. Right? And now all we're going to say here. So remember, where are we saying if the ball hits the bottom, make it 3? We're saying it over here. Self.canvasHeight, we're saying -3. We don't want to say this is -3. We want to say self.y is equal to 0. And then we want to say that, actually, let's not even say self.y is equal to 0. All we can do is say self.hitBottom is equal to true. So it has hit the bottom. And last but not least, let's go back to our while loop. And we're going to say over here, while 1, if hit bottom, or ball.hitBottom, my bad, ball.hitBottom is equal to true or is equal to false. So if it has not hit the bottom, we want ball to be drawn and paddle to be drawn. Else, don't do it. So don't draw, don't change. So the final change that we did this. We made this as in the draw function. We said here that self.hit_bottom is equal to true. So command S, F5. Hopefully this will work. Let's see. Alright, so I'm just going to miss. I'm not going to do anything. And the ball hits the bottom and it stops. Great. So this is huge, guys. We have now created a fully functional bounce game. I remember it was just a few lectures ago. We were dealing with Hello World. Look where we've come. This is amazing. Now I agree, this game is not that functional. It's just a paddle and a ball. I'm sure you can create a better version of this. So let's think of more things we can do. So we can create many things. We can, first of all, delay the game start. So we can, pause the game, give it a counter. Number 2 is we have to give a proper game over. So right now the ball just hits the bottom and we're not showing anything. So you can use that with the create text function. So canvas.createText, game over. It's quite simple. Actually, let's just do it. I'm not even gonna say anything. So let's just do it. Let's go back. Let's close this. Okay. So let's go over to where we're saying this thing. Self.hit bottom is equal to true. And what do we want? All right, so let's add our create text function to our ball def.draw. So we're saying that if self.hit bottom is equal to true, we want to create some text. So the function for that, canvas.create text. And to do this, it takes 3 parameters. The first parameter is the x coordinate and the y coordinate. I'm just going to do it where we positioned our ball, so 245, 100. And then the third parameter is the text. So text is going to be equal to game over. Command S, F5. Let's see if this works. We have our Python launcher loading. Okay. So now, as you can see, our ball is moving really slow. I think we can speed that up. So, all right, awesome. So now over here, we have our game over. Great. So now I can proudly say we have created a fully functional game. Hopefully you've enjoyed this course and hopefully you enjoyed creating this game because I've had a lot of fun myself. Now there's many things we could have done with this. If you ever played that game, Brick Break, I'm not sure what it's called, but there's like a line of bricks up top and the ball hits it and the brick disappears. Well, this is my challenge to you. So I want you to create another class, and then that class can be a brick or a random block, or whatever you want to call it, and just start off with 1. So try creating 1 block, and whenever or when the ball hits the block should disappear, and the ball should come back, like we did with this paddle, the exact opposite. So, yep, this is the finale to our game. Now, there's also the score, so we can add a score. Now, that'll be the same thing. We'll be updating our text. So every time the ball hits this, or every time a ball hits one of those blocks, then you can increase the score and whatnot. Now, this is all up to you, but fantastic, guys. So we have now created a fully functional game that I'm sure you must be proud of, or at least I'm proud of. All right, I'll see you in the next lecture.